Thank you. Might as well start at the beginning. It's kind of a short set we got here today. I got out of the Navy in 1965. I heard Reverend Davis's Candyman blues, and it tickled my ear and ruined my life. A fellow was playing the song at the Folklore Center in New York, and I asked him if he gave lessons. He said no, but he gave me Reverend Davis's phone number on a matchbook. I had that number on my bureau for about 2 months. Maybe not quite that long. I got up my courage and rang him up, asked him if he could teach me to pick a guitar, and he asked me if I had any money. I asked him, how much do you need? He says, $5 to get you started. Well, I was getting $100 a month from the government to go to school on the GI Bill, so I was pretty well flush, you know. I said, I got the money. He says, when do you want to come over? Being shy about it, I said, maybe a week from Thursday. He said, I'm an old man. Told me to come right over. I said, how do I get there? I'm living here on East 10th Street in the Village. He said, you take a subway train. So I went down there and looked it all over. The E train, the A train, the F train, the G train, a lot of trains. I didn't know what to do. I did the hippest thing I could think of. I took the A train. Finally ended up at Reverend Davis's house. He says, what can you play on a guitar? I played him some Candyman blues. He said, good God Almighty, you sound like Dave Van Ronk. That's the greatest compliment that I ever had in my life. He was not pleased with it, though. We went down in his basement for about 4 hours. He was trying to unlearn my Candyman blues Dave Van Ronk style and make it Gary Davis style. It's hard to unlearn something you know how to do. I ended up playing a version that combined the two of them, and neither of them really gave a damn with the way I played it, but they're both dead and I'm here, so there you go. Ooh, I'd do anything in this God Almighty world to keep that Candyman home. So Reverend Davis and I down in the basement picking the guitar all those hours, and Mrs. Davis was upstairs brewing something up for dinner. I knew because the house smelled funny. I'd never smelled such a thing in my life. She called us up for supper, and she had boiled up some turkey wings, put tomato paste on top of them, and some Velveeta cheese. Had a big pot of collard greens going with all kinds of pig parts in there I had never seen. It's the most horrible thing I had ever smelled, being a long-haired vegetarian with a mustache. But I had seconds remembering you gotta suffer to sing the blues. And after supper, we were down in the basement picking and grinning till 2 in the morning. He still didn't like the way I played Candyman blues. Finally, I told him I had to get out of there. I had a philosophy class at 8 o'clock in the morning. He said, don't forget. I said, I won't forget this as long as I live. He said, what's that? I said, my guitar lesson and my supper. He said, don't forget you owe me $5. So I gave him 5. That's where that expression started back then. Next morning, I was back at 11, not even thinking that Mrs. Davis might serve lunch. But I made arrangements that I had to leave at 4. Didn't want to get roped into another supper. Though she could fry chicken, I learned later on in life. Reverend Davis said, don't come by for about 3 weeks. I said, what's happening? He said, I'm going on a tour. I said, going on a tour? I got $50 saved up. Maybe I'll go on a tour with you. And he laughed at me and said $50 wouldn't get me very far. 1966. But before I slammed the door, he said, you want to go on a tour, you be here tomorrow morning, 6:30. Bring your $50, I'll take care of the rest. I thought it over that night and decided I was going to throw away my college education and my GI Bill and hit the road. Never looked back. Next morning, I was banging on the door at 6:30, and Mrs. Davis came to the door. Sister Davis, we used to call her, until she became Mother Davis. I'm not exactly sure when that happened. I'm not sure if it's an age thing or a promotion or what, but she came to the door in a house dress with her hair up in curlers. She said, what are you doing here, Roy? I said, Reverend Davis said I could go on the tour to be here at 6:30 in the morning. She said, well, the old man's asleep and the plane don't leave till 6:30 at night. Come in, I'll fix your breakfast. I said, Lord have mercy. I wished I was down in New Orleans sitting on a Candyman stand. Run to get the bucket, get the baby some beer. Run to get the bucket, get the baby some beer. Run to get the bucket, get the baby some... Ooh, Candyman, Candyman, Dave Van Ronk. Do anything in this God Almighty world just to keep that Candyman home. big leg Ida, big leg Ida, big leg Ida, ooh, big leg Ida. I sure do love that big leg gal, God knows I do. Give you the short version here, we're running out of time. Thank you. Okay, hold it down now. I got 20 minutes, so we're gonna try to slow down on the clap now. I do appreciate it. If you want to hear my entire show, I did a show at the National Storytelling Festival 2 years ago on my birthday, and the Homespun Video Company put out a video of that concert, an hour and a half long, with all my stories and songs, and the title of the video is Roy the Reverend and the Devil's Music. Where could you get such a video? Right back yonder during the break. I got about 20 copies with me. Just thought I'd tell you that, because this is a short show here.